Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to another video, and in this video we're going to be continuing on with our videos on the channel, and in this particular tutorial we are going to be starting a brand new series on the channel. This series is going to be about SwiftUI. Now, what is SwiftUI? Well, SwiftUI is a user interface framework built by Apple for Apple's platforms. So you can build iOS apps, macOS apps, watchOS apps, tvOS apps, and visionOS apps with SwiftUI. In fact, with visionOS, or the Apple Vision Pro, they recommend that you build your apps for that platform in SwiftUI, although it's not technically speaking required. Now, in this series, we're going to go in depth into many of the things that SwiftUI provides us. We aren't going to cover every single little nitty-gritty thing, but we're going to cover enough in about I believe it's 154, 155 some videos that I have planned for you that we're gonna explore SwiftUI, so you have the knowledge that you need to build your own apps. Okay, now for this series, you must have a working knowledge of Swift, because I'm not going to stop necessarily along the way and explain Swift features to you. If there is a feature that I didn't cover in the Swift series, which there will be, I'm going to stop briefly, explain what they are, briefly explain what it is, why SwiftUI uses it, and that's it. I expect that you can go out and look at these concepts on your own. All right? Because the focus of this series is SwiftUI, not Swift. All right? So, let's go on and talk about the approach that SwiftUI uses, because you'll find that if you're familiar with UIKit or AppKit, you'll find that SwiftUI does things slightly differently. And that is because SwiftUI takes a more declarative approach. You construct your user interfaces using a declarative sort of syntax, but with UIKit and AppKit, we use a more a more traditional imperative approach. And you'll find also that SwiftUI heavily uses structures instead of classes, and that's because of performance and speed reasons. They wanted SwiftUI to be as lightweight and as fast as possible. So they're using structs instead of classes for everything. Now, of course, there are ways that you can use classes for things in SwiftUI, and we'll take a look at some of that later in the series, way later. But just know you can use classes in SwiftUI in some scenarios. There are certain features of SwiftUI that take advantage of Swift concurrency, although they are few and far between, and sometimes it can be a little bit funky to work with, but it does exist. It is there. All right. And there are a few different options for SwiftUI apps. Okay, in Xcode, when you create a new project, you will be prompted to you'll have your new project screen, and you'll have the different platforms. You'll see iOS, macOS, watchOS, tvOS, and you'll see visionOS. But you'll also see multi-platform. Now, what is multi-platform? Well, the multi-platform option is specifically and only SwiftUI. This will create an app that has targets for both iOS and macOS. So by default with the multi-platform app, you can run your app on Mac, iPhone, and iPad. But if you want to also add support for watchOS and visionOS and tvOS potentially, you have to add those targets yourself. Okay? And just generally speaking, SwiftUI is a delight to work with. It really is. It's great. So with that being said, I think you're going to enjoy this journey. Thank you all so very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.